Welcome back, everyone. We are the Sports Buds. This is the NFL show, week 15. I am your host, Tony Reyes. Joining me, we only got Chris Billings. We lost one of our Sports Buds. He's lost in transit. I don't know what happened to him. Nick, hope you're safe. Hope you're able to go ahead and bounce back. Show up back here. Talk to us about your Dolphins. Speaking of his Dolphins, let's just get into the Sunday night football game we were talking about a little bit off air here, Billings. What were your takeaways on this Herbert Tua game?
Talked about it a little bit earlier. I still think the Chargers are kind of frauds. I like for me, I don't walk away from that game like thinking that suddenly the Chargers are contenders and that the Dolphins are frauds. I think it was a weird game. Everybody's like, "Oh, they got the blueprint for getting to Tua." I don't think that's necessarily the case. That was my biggest takeaway from that game, and I'm sure most people would disagree with me. Except for Nick, probably. If he was here, he'd agree with
I don't know, man. Second game in a row, Tua looked bad. He looked bad. And it seems like that blueprint is out. I mean, they jam those receivers at the line and mess up the timing, and Tua doesn't pass over the middle because he's not tall. I mean, you watch a short quarterback over there in Denver not pass to the middle because he can't see over the line. It's the same thing with Tua. Like if you take away those deep balls, he's really ordinary. And that's kind of what seemed to be happening. I think the Tua Herbert debate is over. Like I think it's I don't.
I don't know about that. Like I think it's still got some life in it for a couple more years of just like this got two young talented quarterbacks in the league and I think it's more an implication on Mike McDaniel than it is Tua. I think it's just the finesse of that offense that if you can just throw them off their rhythm a little bit, it affects them fairly drastically. And so I talked to Nick a little bit about this. He reminded me that the Dolphins do indeed have a fullback, much to my shock. And he did score a touchdown that I forgot about this season. Yeah, I just think that you need a bell cow back for that offense, basically. To switch it up, take that pressure off of Tua, pick up those blitzes when necessary, and just offer him a little more in the trenches. And especially like that's the thing also with Tua, it's all timing. When he doesn't have that time back there in the pocket to execute, it's a different game. And so I think bringing in a running back that could potentially do the pass blocking, pick up the blitzes would be crucial for this offense right now because they're a little too finesse, and I think that finesse is going to bite them in the playoffs should they make it. Um, but yeah, that's not what wins in the playoffs, and honestly, that's probably going to hurt them a little bit this weekend with the Bills.
I don't know. Tua, it seems to me like he's rattled. I mean, he had the concussion earlier this year. The San Francisco pressure was there, and it just seems like he's getting rid of the ball. He's worried. He's getting rid of the ball early. And I mean, it was night and day. Like Herbert looked amazing. I mean, he was in complete control of that entire game. He shredded that Dolphins defense. And I mean, I don't know, like it doesn't really seem like a conversation anymore. I'm just like, well, yeah, obviously, like look at what this guy could do. I mean, you were saying, he's hurt. He has some injuries with his rib. He didn't look hurt to me. And I mean, it looked a lot better than Tua. And I was just like, this conversation's over. Like, this isn't like look at what your eyes are telling you. Like this guy, like what do you want from him? He's like doing everything you possibly can to make that team succeed. And so I'm just like, man, I don't know. It seems like a very uphill battle for Tua. I mean, that schedule isn't going to get any easier. That division is tough. Going to Buffalo, like you said. Nick was worried about this 3 game stretch, and they're already 0-2 in it. I don't know how they're going to do in Buffalo. So I mean, it's not looking good for them. From what I've seen, it's not looking good.
I disagree from like a long perspective. Like things look good for Dolphins fans. Like this is the most they've been talked about in decades. Like we're not just talking years here, decades. that this is the most they've been talked about. Like they clearly have an uphill trajectory with this coach, with this team, with this quarterback. So I'd say like things like yes, Dolphins fans probably need to come back to reality and realize that this is a stepping stone season. Just be happy. Like honestly, like if you make it at this point, just be happy with a playoff appearance and take some solace in that. But yeah, like you're not going to compete with the top dogs right now.
I mean, at one point too, it was an MVP conversation, and it's I think that's clear that that's no longer the case.
Yeah, but so is Kirk Cousins. Like let's we need something to talk about occasionally.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is
Um,
true.
but yeah, like Dolphins, like have Dolphins fans have some perspective. Like things are trending upward. I don't get the backlash with Mike McDaniel. Like he is your coach for the future. Like let's calm down. And so yeah, like I'd say things are looking good for that team. Have some perspective, but yes, like little too finesse. There's still things to work on. Still need to build that offensive line a little bit. Get some more run game going. You'll be good.
My question: if they miss the playoffs, is that a disappointment?
It would be with the way things started. I mean, because that much like with I was saying with Broncos at the beginning of the season, like honestly, like the goal is just make the playoffs. I'll be happy. Like do something you haven't done for the previous 5 years. I'll be happy. Let's just make an appearance. Give me something to cheer about. And it was kind of the same way with the Dolphins of just like realistically, like you just need to make the playoffs because that's something you guys haven't done in a while. And yeah, so that would be a disappointment, but I would still temper expectations and say things are trending upward for Dolphins, especially when there's a lot of teams like things aren't going well for them in the NFC and the AFC this year. And so be happy. Like you're not the Ravens, you're not the Packers, you're not the Cardinals, you're not the
That is true.
Broncos, you're not the Buccaneers. So many teams are just like suffering from high expectations and low returns this year. And so Dolphins fans, I don't think even they projected it was going to be this.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start talking about this high expectations and low output. Let's go straight to this Arizona Cardinals Kyler Murray injury. Steve Keim taking a leave of absence from his GM post. What's up with the
He
Cardinals?
pulled an Urban Meyer. Let's be honest. Health issues. Gotta go step away to hang out with my family. Like, no, it's your job sucks and you sucked at it. But the Cardinals, man, like you want like I question you this. Like, are they a bigger disappointment this season than the Broncos?
I think they have a better record than the Broncos, so
They
maybe not.
do, but like I mean,
Uh,
you signed your
it's
coach
bad.
and your QB to big deals, extensions, and
Yeah,
it's they have not looked good at all this year, and
that's
not
true.
on any phase of the ball, to be honest. And
I
so,
agree.
like, at least like the Broncos, you can kind of, I guess, pinpoint of just like here are some of the issues right now. Can you really do that with the Cardinals right now? Like, I think like it's everything.
I think it's Kyler. I think they'll probably be better without him. He doesn't want to be a football player. That guy doesn't care about football. That guy is really good at football. That guy doesn't care about football. He's not a leader. You can
Interesting.
tell. Like, what does he care about? Video games, his brand, talking about what he did in high school. He's not a leader. You watch that team, that's not a team that has a leader. Like, if anything, they're gonna fall in line behind JJ Watt. And I don't know how long he's gonna stay there. It's out. I'm out on them. It's over for them. The
No,
guy, like,
I've been out on them for a
yeah, like
while.
I mean, it's over for Kyler's whole career. Like he's never gonna be like an NFL quarterback. It's over. Like his whole game is built off of his elite, like short speed, like short term quickness. He's can't see over the pot. He can't see over linemen. He can't hit the middle of the field, just like Tua, just like Russell Wilson. If he
So
doesn't have that elite quickness, what's he gonna do?
Do you think he's starting for the Cardinals week 1 next season?
No, he's not going to start for them until like even maybe December next season, maybe like a year from now, and he's not going to be good. His game is built off athleticism. Look what happened to Russell Wilson. He isn't good anymore. Just like Kyler Murray's not going to be good. He's not good from the pocket. His whole game is built off athleticism and making dudes miss. I just don't see it.
Yeah, not looking good for the Cardinals. They probably need to start looking for what their future is at head coach and quarterback.
Yeah.
Lo
Yeah.
Ciento. There in the Sun Valley.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's talk about this since we have this quarterback discussion going on in the NFC West. How about this Brock Purdy guy and this Niners team? What were your takeaways of this game?
You know damn well what my takeaways were. Maybe there is something to this. Hey, Jimmy G was just a system QB take that I had a couple weeks ago. And you're just like, well, let's see how Brock Purdy does. And Brock Purdy's looked pretty good.
That is fair.
Pretty good.
That is fair, but that was not my takeaway from that game. My takeaway from that game was, good lords, the Bucks are bad. Like,
Yes.
Holy crap, they are bad. I was like in shock at how bad they were. And I was like,
maybe Bruce Arians knew a little bit of what he was doing. Just saying.
like, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm still not there with Brock Purdy and that Niners team. Little skeptical of them. We'll get into it.
I told you though, they don't need a quarterback. Just hand it off to Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, and that's exactly what they did.
And like, Deebo Samuel got hurt.
Peak efficiency, and it looks like it's not even going to be that long term of an injury.
But that's the point. Like, he's already gotten hurt in the first game that Brock Purdy is there. You told me about Christian McCaffrey's usage. Like, you think he's going to make it through the rest of the season healthy and through the playoff run healthy? Like, they're leaning on these players a lot. Like, look at you. You're already like, and it's like, I understand what happens with football media and how everything goes. You know who Brock Purdy sounds like? Bailey Zappi 2 months ago. Remember? Do we not remember this? Bailey Zappi is going to take this job from Mac Jones, and he tore up the Lions. He beat the Browns. I mean, backups have a couple games. Like, maybe I was wrong that Brock Purdy's third string. Maybe he's a legitimate backup quarterback in the league, but it's only been one game. If he goes into Seattle,
I just think it's the system.
I agree. It is a beneficial system, but I just think that let's give him a little bit more time, a little bit more film out there.
I still think if you poll all the NFC teams that qualify for the playoffs today and ask them which team in the playoffs do you not want to face, it's going to be a resounding 49ers.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I do. I really do.
I don't think teams would want to face the Eagles, and I don't think teams would want to face the Cowboys. Same teams that don't want to face the Niners.
Think it was true, like NFL hubris. People look at the Eagles and they say, "Oh yeah, we can beat them." Like, they're just like me and you, of like, "Oh yeah, that's a flawed team. We can beat them." Whereas, like, I think they look at the Niners, they're just like, "God damn!" Like, the personnel that they're constantly just throwing at you on both sides of the ball is terrifying.
Yeah, they are very talented. They are a pain in the ass to play. Very well coached team. Shanahan is a scheme lord. I'm reserving this. If Brock Purdy goes into Seattle and beats Seattle, I'll be like, okay, that's a legitimate win. That's in division, on the road. You're not at home. You don't have the crowd going Brock, going all crazy.
It's gonna be a big game for both teams. In all honesty, like, that's a huge game this week that people might be overlooking. I'm like, oh, Brock Purdy versus Geno Smith, and like, it doesn't sound sexy. It's gonna be a good game, and it's gonna determine a playoff spot.
I agree. Let's get to this here. Since you said the Eagles are a flawed team, but I'm hearing that Jalen Hurts is the MVP. Like, he is the favorite for MVP right now at all sports books. I cannot bet on this in New York. You cannot bet on award winners in New York. It is weird. I don't know why, but you cannot. He is the favorite, and Patrick Mahomes is second. Is Jalen Hurts the MVP?
No.
Tell me why, Billings.
like talk about just I'm sorry, but another system QB. I gotta throw it out there, and that's a Jalen Hurts just kind of always has been, going back to his days in Alabama. Um, like whereas at least like Tua, like you did see like those electrifying moments where you're like, oh wow, this guy has like an NFL talent arm. Hurts never was that. Is always just like the most competent. Um, and so no, I don't see it with Jalen Hurts. Like I just to be a spiteful asshole earlier in the season, like I did say like, hey, why isn't Jalen Hurts in the discussion? I never really believed that he was MVP.
Oh my God. I don't know how this has come around, but somehow this I'm like higher on Jalen Hurts than you now. And I don't like I guess I was the lowest on him and I gotta take the L on that. But it seems like this AJ Brown addition has unlocked the passing element to Jalen Hurts' game. Very similar to how Stephon Diggs unlocked Josh Allen, how Amari Cooper unlocked Dak Prescott, how Tyreek Hill is unlocking Tua. Like it seems like once you put these elite number one receivers with these quarterbacks, it makes their job so much easier. It simplifies the position for them so much. But that being said, he's on that Josh Allen trajectory. Josh Allen never won an MVP. Like, I mean, honestly, like I just don't understand these. It's like we're just having an argument to have an argument. Like, do you watch Patrick Mahomes? Like, I mean, other than Kelsey, would any other player on the Chiefs offense even start on
Well,
the Eagles?
it's just that people are already bored with watching Patrick Mahomes. Like we have
That's
just
yeah.
such a short attention span, unless it's somebody like Brady that constantly is just bludgeoning you over the head with their greatness season after season. We like to find the Colin Kaepernicks. We like to find like the Patrick Mahomes, like the new flavor that we can go on about. And he's he is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Like there
Yeah,
used to be it used to be arguments that it was Brady, that it was Rodgers. Like no, those two, their careers are clearly on the decline. Like even the Broncos game, he's toying with his food. He was fucking with cats, like we like to say on here.
yeah.
Like uh, like yes, they let the Broncos come back, and that was a moral victory for the Broncos. But I think that was more just Patrick Mahomes of just his general disinterest with the regular season because he's that good.
Yeah.
And
And I
that's
mean,
that's that's an MVP talent to me. Like honestly, like that's Peyton never did it. Peyton never did it just because he was such a workhorse and a grinder that like he loved winning those regular season games almost to a detriment to him in the postseason. And Mahomes is just different. Like I think I could just see it in his brain where he doesn't care about the regular season anymore. He knows how good he is. He knows how good that team is, and he has the support of his coach and his teammates and all of that. And so, yeah, if the award went out today, I'd give it to Patrick Mahomes.
that's no shade at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts being in this conversation is an amazing achievement in itself. Nobody believed that this would be where he was at the beginning of the season. Nobody thought that this is what was going to happen with the Eagles this year. Like that is an achievement in itself. Being second or third place in the MVP vote to Patrick Mahomes isn't like an insult to you
It's
at
not a
all.
spite at all.
Yeah,
Like
like he's playing tremendously. He has gotten so much better, much better than I thought. Never thought he would go on this Josh Allen where I know how to be accurate. Increase in ability. Like I didn't think that. Most people didn't think that. I don't even think the Eagles thought that.
well, it's like the Broncos game, like it hurt his chances for MVP, but in the same game, dude's throwing no look passes. Like, come on. Like that's just it's clearly just a media thing that they're bored with him at the moment, that he's been the shiny object, and now with just how he, like I said, how he behaves in the regular season, like that doesn't excite the daily talk shows. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't give them the fodder that they need with that guy. Um, but yeah, I would give it to him today. I'd say this is probably the first season when you can solidly say he's the best quarterback, best player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, the Eagles are having a great year. Jalen Hurts is having a great year. I was wrong about him developing into this passer that he's turned into. Good for him.
Yeah,
I'm happy that he's in that conversation, but he's still not the most valuable player. Like
it's
that
just
team is ridiculously
it's
good.
just like we talked about with the Dolphins of like Eagles fans need to have a little bit of perspective. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
they have the Lombardi trophy in sight right now, which is how good their team is.
Mm-hmm.
But same thing, have perspective that like this is an unexpected season somewhat for you. Enjoy it.
Right. Speaking of unexpected, let's talk about the Lions. How good is this team, Billings?
Apparently only good when I pick against like to a frightening degree, Tony.
Like it's I honestly I'm my mind gets blown by like how we forget things, and I'm hearing like Jared Goff, he's playing better than he's ever played. I'm like, no, he's not. What are
Yes, he
you
is.
talking about? No, he's not. He went to a Super Bowl. He won playoff games. He was good for the Rams. He's not going to win playoff games for the Lions. They should move on for him after this season. He isn't that guy. The same reason the Rams moved off of him. They have an amazing supporting cast up there in Detroit. Their line is good. They have good receivers. They're building a culture up there. Jared Goff's not the reason they're winning. You can move off from him.
He's the best they're ever gonna get. Like
No,
no one's willingly going there. Like they would have to make almost just like a splash play to get like Kyler Murray or something.
they have the Rams draft pick. They're going to have a top 5 or top 10 draft pick this year in addition to their own. They can get a quarterback in the draft. He will be better than Jared Goff.
I don't think he will.
Jared Jared Goff is replacement level. This is what happened with Baker Mayfield in Cleveland in 2020. Like this is what happened. Like the surrounding parts are so good. They carry the quarterback. And you're like, "Oh, well maybe the quarterback is good." And then as soon as one thing goes wrong, that team sucks. And you're like, "Oh, what happened? What happened?" And it's Jared Goff isn't that guy. Like I don't know why we keep going through this like exercise with him. Like, he's just another guy. He is like a Kirk Cousins. He is just a baseline replaceable quarterback
We've
in the
talked about
league.
it with Kirk Cousins of like who are you like honestly replacing him with? Like he is your best option at the moment.
I
And
don't
sometimes you just have to deal you have to deal with the cards that were given to you. And I think the Lions are doing the best with the cards that were dealt to them right now. And like, no, they're not going to get a free agent quarterback that's going to walk through that door. And then I don't see them trading for a QB. Like
hmm.
really, like that's what it would come down to is like they would have to go out and get someone like Kyler Murray, where it's just clearly not working in Arizona. They're gonna probably want to reload at some point. And but like the Lions don't even have that feeling with Goff of where I think they would look elsewhere, where they would make that phone call to Arizona and say, "Hey, what's up with Kyler Murray?" Like they're content with what they have right now.
Why wouldn't they go after Lamar Jackson?
I
Like
don't
what
think
do
that
you
I don't think he would willingly choose them.
like? I don't know.
I think they could throw Deshaun Watson money at him and he'd still not go to the Lions.
Wow, that's bold. Maybe you're right. I don't know. He's gonna have his pick.
That's the Lions franchise. They don't have that kind of success. Like it would very clearly be like, oh yeah, he's just going there for the money. And I think even Lamar Jackson would realize that of like, oh yeah, like this would be me like selling out essentially the remainder of my career for dollars, for generational wealth.
They have such a good roster though and
They
infrastructure there,
do.
man.
They do. They have a great team, but I think they're making best of what they have and like they're not going to get like free agents that are willingly going to go to them. So it's you either need to build through the draft, which that's not a guarantee, or you got to make some trades.
Is Jared
And
Goff the quarterback for them next season?
yes, yes,
I disagree. I don't think so.
easily,
I
easily.
don't. I think they just get someone else. I think they go
I
ahead
think
and
they're
just get.
actually like I think Lions fans Lions management, coaching staff, I think they're actually beyond thrilled with Goff this season. Yes, like I'm just telling you like honest, like objective, like I think Lions fans are totally content with Jared Goff and happy that he's their quarterback at the moment. Especially when you look around the league and look what's going on with teams that have like well-known quarterbacks
That's
at the
true.
moment. So yeah, like I think they look around the league and they're happy with what they got.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens with him.
And it just adds to that underdog mentality of that team. Like that's their culture. And
That's
Dan
true.
Campbell feeds into that culture. And so yeah, I think fans there they're happy. They're happy with Dan Campbell. They're happy with Jared Goff. Even if this does somehow turn out to be a losing season, I think it's a moral victory for them.
That's true. I think it still will be a losing season. I think like 5-9 or something.
Hey, the rate they're going right now, man, I don't know. Like
All right. Let's see what else
that
we got here.
offense is like unstoppable.
Let's see. No OBJ for Dallas. Instead, they signed T.Y. Hilton. No OBJ for Buffalo. They signed Cole Beasley. Okay. OBJ isn't playing this year. This is what it's telling me right here. He's just needing attention.
Clip boy, pull it. I said OBJ's an attention whore. That's exactly what he was doing out there, and just getting that attention that he so desperately craves. T.Y. Hilton is a good pickup for Dallas. Like
Yeah, he can
this is
play.
like I think he just didn't want to play for the Colts. Is really what it came down to. Um,
So true.
and then yeah, like Beasley just adds some additional depth for Buffalo as well. Like we won't even get into his whole back issues and whatnot, but it's a solid pickup for them.
I agree. I agree. All right, let's get to these power rankings. All right, Nick isn't here, so I'll go through his first. He's got Eagles 1, Chiefs 2, Niners 3, Bills 4, and Cowboys 5th. Dang, that's like pretty similar to all of ours here. He's giving no love to the Bengals, though. See that you got no love to the Bengals either.
I love this
Why no?
segment. Tony reads power rankings in real time and is like,
Why no love for the Bengals?
I
Why no
just
love for the Bengals?
I was on this last year and they basically proved me wrong to the Super Bowl. Picked against them in every goddamn game they played in. I don't believe in that team. I don't believe that you can just have this playoff caliber, Super Bowl caliber team with just a wide receiver and a quarterback. And that's
All
like
right.
all I see in the Bengals.
They do have a good defense. They do have a
They
good
do have a good
defense.
defense. Joe Mixon's also great for them as well. It, I I don't know. I don't know what it is with the Bengals. They don't ping on my radar.
All right, we'll see. They got a couple good games coming up. I think they play the Bucks and the Bills in back-to-back weeks here. So we will see. We both picked Joe Burrow to win MVP before the year. He's in that conversation as well with Hurts and Mahomes. If you ask me, he's played really well this year.
Yeah, I like it's like for what Mahomes has done to I'd say be number one, like I'd honestly have to throw Joe Burrow at number two of what he's done over the last 2 years. Going
Yeah.
back to his injury his rookie season, taking his team to the Super Bowl. And even this year when just they looked god awful in stretches and they've still managed to win games over good teams, which they did last year as well. And people would just be like, what is this team? Like they lose to bad teams, but then they're out there beating the Chiefs and the Bills. And so I don't know. But yeah, I like Joe Burrow. Honestly, like I said, Patrick Mahomes is number one in the league, but if I'm starting a team today, like the quarterback I sign is probably Joe Burrow.
Wow. I mean, definitely seems to be getting better every week. They're a dangerous team. Bengals and Niners is the only difference in our power rankings. We'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna hold off on the Niners and Brock Purdy until they beat Seattle. Then I'll go ahead and put them in there.
Number 2 on my power rankings, people. Like the Niners team is scary.
They are. They're very good. Let's see what's going on. We can recap last week's horrendous performance on the spreads, where I actually beat all of you guys, going 5-8, and you went 4-9, and Nick went 3-10. Truly terrible. We're giving you guys winning bets. Just do the opposite of what we tell you every week, and you'll be profitable. From what I've seen here for the past month, like I don't think we've hit 500. Like we're in a rough patch right now. We're in a rough patch right now.
It's not been good.
Dropped me here. I'm still number 1 on the season, down to 53%. Nick is at 48%, and Billings is at 43.5%.
One more month to go, baby. One more month to go.
One more month. Maybe we'll wait the playoff games, like 10 games each or something. All right. Let's get into these spreads here. Let's get into them. Starting off, Niners, Seahawks. Seahawks road favorites, 3.5. Both you and Nick are picking the Niners, and I'm on my lonely island picking the Seahawks. Why are you picking the Niners?
This is tough. I did want to pick the Seahawks because of that half-point hook that we talk about. Divisional game. Niners are on the road, but God damn it, that Niners team just looked so good last week. Then also that Seahawks team did not look good. So that's really what I'm going. It seems like two teams going in opposite directions right now. That's why I'm going with the Niners, but I am fully giving my asterisks of this will probably go wrong.
The hook, bro. That's what got me. The hook. I was like, yo, that hook is weird. That's a rat line right there. That's funky. Whenever I see some stuff like that, I'm just like, nah, give me that. I'm taking that hook. And if the Niners do win, I think it will be a field goal game. Let me see. Colts of Vikings. We have Saturday football now. 3 games on Saturday.
Was that a joke? Was that a pun?
No, it's legit. Saturday football.
Come on, Tony. Saturday football with the
Saturday
Colts.
NFL, okay?
with
Saturday
with the
NFL.
Colts.
Now I get it. Now I get your jokes. Your puns. Okay. Let's talk about the Colts and how everybody thought Jeff Saturday was a competent hire because he beat the Raiders that first game, and they've been complete shit since. But nobody said anything because Jeff Saturday's friends are all in the media sitting up there at ESPN. Am I right?
That's like, hey, I'd say he's doing better than the previous regime.
Is he?
Like they're kind of keeping it close, minus that Cowboys game. But come on, all 3 of us are picking the Vikings. We know what's gonna happen. Colts win.
No, the Vikings will win. Maybe the Colts will cover. Maybe they will cover.
Just saying, we're all picking the Vikings. What could go wrong?
That is true. We are all in agreement on the Vikings. Last week, we were in agreement on 5 games. We were wrong on all 5 of those games. So we'll see what we do this week. Saturday game continued. Ravens at Browns. Browns 2.5-point favorites. Billings on his lonely island picking the Ravens. Who's playing quarterback for them, Billings?
I think Tyler Huntley. I think. But that Browns team, ugh. Yeah. That's why. And I think everyone's going to be picking against the Ravens in this game. And so, as Tony likes to point out, those classic games where the public just overbets at one particular team, I think that's the case here. And that the Browns are going to be shocked at the end of this one.
I could see it. That's fair. That's exactly what happened last week with the Ravens and Steelers. Everyone was on the Steelers, and the Ravens came out and won. So we'll see what happens. I just don't know who's playing quarterback. That's my main concern. I'm like, I cannot pick the Ravens if I don't know who's playing quarterback. Give me the Browns. Give me the 2.5. They're at home. I just can't pick a team without knowing who their quarterback is. Dolphins at Bills, the last Saturday game, Buffalo 7.5. I am on my lonely island taking the Bills while both you guys are taking the Dolphins. My friends, I live up here. I'm looking at the weather forecast. 25 degrees.
That's exactly the problem. That's too many points in a weather game.
7 to 9 inches of snow overnight.
Josh Allen ain't gonna be able to air it out just like Tua, and the Bills running game is Josh Allen, so like this would be a lot closer than 7.5 points. Like I'm not saying the Dolphins are gonna win, but like yeah, that especially come on, that half point right there is just all signs point to Vegas trying to fuck you.
I would agree with you, but that Bills defense is good. Like, even though they lost Von Miller, I think they're gonna just watch what the
Yeah,
Chargers
not as
did.
good without Von Miller. I'll say that much.
The Chargers didn't
And
have many
they
good pass
had a
rushers
tough time against the Dolphins in their last match.
in Miami, where weather played a factor, right?
Why are they gonna play a factor in this one?
It is going to play a factor in this one. Tua doesn't play
hard to rush the edge when you got slick grass to go around. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, Tua doesn't play well in cold weather. He doesn't have any history of success in this. This is not going to be good for that team.
That's
that
why
team...
we used to have a weatherman on this show. It's because of games like this.
Like, watch out for that. Like, I don't know, man. We'll see.
It's too many points. Too many points for that kind of weather, and the Bills don't like. They're not going to be able to air it out either. They're not going to be able to edge rush Tua. Like Josh Allen's still your top rusher, so you're not going to come out like you did to other teams and blow the doors off of them.
So you think the Dolphins are going to have deep ball success against the Bills?
No.
So how else do they score?
You're going to like this. That yak. They're going to get drunk off that yak in this game.
Okay.
See those short passes, the screen plays, yards after catch like a motherfucker in this one.
They are going to need it. They're going to need it. If that's
the
game plan. All right. That's the game plan. They're going to need it. We'll see. That's going to be some good action on Saturday. Speaking of too many points.
Drunk on the yak in the snow.
Take that, Bills Mafia. Take that. All right. We got Sunday games. Bears at home. 9-point underdogs to the Eagles. Nick is on his lonely island taking the Eagles while both of us are taking the Bears. Like you said, just felt like too many points, man.
Too many points.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a game where like I don't think the Eagles have the attention span to get over 9 points on the Bears. Like they might come out early, but like then they're just going to get bored with this team and be like, oh, like we just want to get out of here, get back to Philly. So
I agree. They're already answering questions about Micah Parsons' interview on a podcast about what he said about Jalen Hurts. I know they're not too focused on the Bears. Probably win by like a touchdown, but 9 is a lot. 9 is a little too much. Yeah, so that's why I was like, Bears, they cover. This made me laugh when I looked at these picks on this game. Lions at Jets. Jets a 1-point favorite, so it's basically a pickup. Another game where Nick's on his lonely island picking the Lions. Both of us picking the Jets. Doesn't seem like we want to pick the Jets here with our parenthetical.
But I made a commitment to you, the viewers, that I would no longer pick the Lions. And I'm standing by that commitment, even though I really want to pick the Lions in this game. But I'm going with the Jets because I honor our audience. You know, like there's a certain amount of trust that they put in me making these picks. And so I gotta show some respect for our viewing audience.
Too much public love on the Lions. Everyone is going to be betting the Lions. And the Jets, Mike White. The Jets have a good defense. That's what I saw against the Bills. They have a good
Jets
defense.
have a good offense. They're just a quarterback away.
That's a law. That's a lot.
If
that's
Mike White had started the season for this team, they would be a playoff team.
They still can make the playoffs.
They will. Like, yes, I'm not counting them out, but they would like it would be almost a guarantee at this point of like, yes, Jets are a playoff team. with
I could
Mike
see
White
that.
starting. So like their offense, pretty good. I was down on the Jets at the beginning of the season. Tony was high on them. Tony, give yourself a little pat on the back for that one. You called it with the Jets. They're a pretty good team. They have a pretty good offense. And I questioned you. I called you out. I called you out. I
Yep.
questioned your integrity. I said you were taking drugs, and that was wrong of me.
But you were right. I was taking drugs, but I was just a little higher on the Jets than everyone else.
uh,
All right. Because speaking of taking drugs, you'll need to be taking drugs to watch this game. Panthers, 2.5 point favorites at home against the Steelers. Billings on his lonely island picking the Panthers. Why?
Panthers are back, baby. They're back. They're gonna win that division. They're gonna win the NFC South. Look out. Keep pounding, Panthers. Keep pounding. You got this. Rawr.
I don't know if this is a bit, everyone, or not. I don't know if he believes in this Panthers team. He's sticking with his preseason NFC South playoff pick there, but he thought it was going to be with Baker and Christian McCaffrey. No, come on, man. Steelers, underdog, they're going to win that game outright. Panthers, come on, they're not.
I legit don't know how the Panthers are favored in this game, but I'm going with it. I got some ground to make up, and this is a wild pick. The Panthers gonna win that division.
I can see it. I can see it. All right. Chiefs, Texans, Chiefs 14-point favorites on the road. Nick again on his lonely island picking the Texans. Both of us picking the Chiefs. What's going on here? Why is he picking the Texans? Too many points?
He's trying to be different. He told us this at a
True.
certain point. And he's just like, I want to keep it interesting, do something different. But no, I don't think Nick's watched too many Texans games, minus the Dolphins one that he had to watch. But yeah, that Texans team sucks.
They do. They pulled out all the stops against my Cowboys.
Like
They
they
tried
can't,
everything.
and that was like their Super Bowl this year. But like they can't stop a nosebleed. So I
That's true.
think
I agree with you.
KC after that game that they had against the Broncos, like they're gonna have a little more to prove this weekend. Of like, all right, like gotta take some names, kick some ass.
True. I agree. I think they cover that easily. I mean, there was the Deshaun Watson game and it was the Cowboys game. And then like that's the only two games the Texans cared about. And then
Yeah.
they're just like getting ready for next year. Okay. Falcons, Saints. Saints 4-point favorites at home. Speaking of integrity, I'm picking the Falcons. What a surprise, everyone. I made a promise to all of you guys. Nick again on his lonely island picking the Saints while you're on my Falcons team here. Desmond Ridder getting the start. Marcus Mariota leaving the team. I don't know what's going on there. What are your thoughts on this game, Billings?
It's definitely going to be a doo-doo fire game, that's for sure.
There it
But
is. There it is.
yeah, I have more integrity than Tony, who went back on his word and picked the Falcons. But I am also picking the Falcons because that Saints team is just in utter disarray. Like it's just
They're bad.
like they're worse than bad though. They're boring. Like at least like with the Broncos, like I get to watch the dumpster fire. Like you can't say that with the Saints. It's just boring and bad and uninteresting.
Yeah. It's Andy Dalton out there. Yeah. Boring, bad, uninteresting. All right. That's enough talking about that game.
Fans are calling for Trevor Simeon. That's how just boring and uninteresting it is. They're like, dear God, get the Skittles guy out there.
So bad. So bad. All right. We got Cowboys at Jaguars. Cowboys 4.5-point favorites on the road. All of us in agreement on the Cowboys. Tell me why.
Giving way too much credit to the Jaguars, Vegas. Like I see this easily being over a touchdown game for the Cowboys.
We'll see. We'll see. The Cowboys have to win that game, or else that Philly game is meaningless next week. So I agree with you, though. I agree. I think that they are going to I don't know if over a touchdown, but I think it'll probably be about a touchdown game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're all in agreement again here on this one. Cardinals at Broncos. Broncos 2.5 point favorites on the road. They're going to win this game, man. Broncos are going to win this game, Billings.
I do think the Broncos actually win this game. Hey, Coach Hackett, I see you. I'm the pasty white guy that can rock the goatee. He looks like the evil mirror version of Coach Hackett right now. It's pretty hilarious. But yes, like I think the Broncos win this. And honestly, I think even if Kyler Murray were the starting QB, the Broncos would still probably win this, just because the Cardinals team, like they don't know what's going on there. The Broncos defense is good. Broncos defense actually got some scores finally. And then also the Broncos offense is clicking. I do think Russell Wilson's going to play this weekend as well.
All right. All right. What did you think about Jerry Judy's little tantrum there in the middle of that game?
Jerry Judy just like he has some stuff to learn, and like we've all had players like that of just the maturity level needs to rise a little bit, rise to their talent level essentially. Broncos personally had that with Von Miller. Like think of just like how his career started, and people were like, yeah, this guy's just gonna like smoke his career away, and he really turned it around, became a Super Bowl MVP. And there's been players on the Cowboys as well that they're like, oh, there's maturity issues, and then they've come around to be just true leaders and talent. And so I think it's just, yeah, it's young. He has time to learn. Definitely not the best look, but it's football, man. Like it's a game of emotions, and I hate when people just when they get irritated when those emotions bubble through. It's like, what do you think is going to happen when these guys are literally putting like their lives and bodies on the line out here? So yeah, just that kind of stuff. I blow off. That's sports. Let them have those moments. But yeah, not a good look. He'll get over it. I really do think like he's going to rise as a leader on this team, and I think that was the game where they finally said like, oh yeah, you're the guy. It's no longer Cortland Sutton, and that's good for this team all around. Because Cortland Sutton, he just doesn't have that it factor. He doesn't have that leadership factor, and so yeah, it's time to move on from him being the wide receiver number one here.
All right. Speaking of moving on, this is the most difficult game on the whole slate for me to pick. Patriots at Raiders. Patriots a 1 point favorite on the road. Billings is on his lonely island picking the Patriots while Nick and I are backing the Raiders. Tell me why.
Because I know I even with Matt Patricia being the incompetent OC that he is, I just know Bill Belichick is in the trenches this week, like coaching everyone up, and like, no, we're not losing to Josh McDaniels this week. Sorry, like we're not gonna have Devonte Adams beat us. We're not gonna have Josh Jacobs beat us. And so yeah, I'm going with the Patriots. Like they love to take away your best weapons, and that this year it's been Devonte Adams and Josh Jacobs. And when those guys don't show up, neither do the Raiders.
That's fair. And I mean, Belichick will make it hard on Derek Carr. I don't doubt that. The Patriots suck, bro.
I don't
That
even think you need to
offense.
make it on hard on Derek Carr though. I think it's just you take away those two options from him, he's left with
That Patriots offense though is so boring and not explosive and basically like Chinese water torture. And I'm just like, oh my god. That's why. That's why I can't back that. I can't pick that. I'm just gonna take the
I
Raiders.
oh I get it. I get it. Like Matt Patricia, we'll do it in honor of him. You stink. You stink, buddy, as an
Ooh,
OC.
you are bad. Yes,
There
you
are
are
there
bad.
are children playing Madden that could out scheme you.
Yes, I agree. Cosign. Pick a kid up, play Madden, better than you. God, you're bad. You're horrible. Okay. This is good right here. Titans at Chargers. Chargers 2.5 point favorites on the road. Billings is the only one picking the Chargers. Nick and I are backing the Titans. Tell me why.
Like I can't pick that Titans team anymore, and that Chargers, like they're playing at home. They're actually starting to build a little bit more of a home following. I don't see Tennessee fans traveling for this game. Uh, yeah. So I'm going with the better QB. I'm going with the better team. Like really, I think the only advantage the Titans have is better coach and better running back. And
I agree.
fucking Christ, Derrick Henry had like an abomination of a game last week. So
I agree. I'm just Titans are going to win that game, man. I've seen this Chargers
they've
team too
never
many
let you
times.
down before.
I got them right last week. I picked that they would lose last week, and they did to the Jags. First time that the Jags had beaten the Titans in Tennessee in like a decade. They're going to bounce back. This Chargers team is going to charge. Too big of an emotional win. Everyone on that Chargers sideline was in that Herbert to a social media QB. Where's Emmanuel Acho at? Where is he at? That's what they were all worried about. It's going to be a little bit of an emotional letdown, and they're going to lose to the Titans. Probably knock them out of playoff contention. Look
Oh, Emmanuel Acho. I hate that guy. I
oh
really do.
man,
He just
bad week.
he
Bad week for
sucks.
him.
He's
Bad week.
I'm glad that Dolphins fans have somebody that they can agree on things with, but I can't stand that man. Bengals at Bucks.
Bengals at Bucks. Bengals 3.5 point favorites on the road. Billings is the only one backing Joe Burrow and the Bengals, while Nick and I are backing the Bucks. Tell
I
me
spent a
why.
whole segment hyping up Bengals and Joe Burrow, and now he's like, man,
Mm-hmm.
Bucks. Team that I just
Yep.
said was shitty earlier.
Yep.
I get it. That 3.5 is that hook, man, that hook. But
Yep.
I that's the Bucks team, man. Like talk about another team that can't like they're just sliced butter in terms of their secondary. I think that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase will light them up.
Fair. I picked the hook, bro. Rat line. Saw it. I was like, that's funny. That doesn't look right. If anything, Bengals win by a field goal, and that hook helps. I
And
just
yeah, and to your point, like especially when it's a home team that's an underdog, and to have that half point hook. But hey, I got to shake things up here in this final month.
That's true. That's true. The Bucks looked so bad last week, so I think they'll look a little bit better. Like God, that was horrible for Brady out there in San Francisco. God, they look bad.
Hey, he might be their QB next year, so
They don't get Lamar Jackson.
mm, I don't see
Yeah, that would be pretty terrifying if Lamar
I
Jackson
don't
was a,
see I don't see Kyle Shanahan going after Lamar Jackson.
a mobile quarterback. You mean like RG3? It worked pretty well once.
Uh, for a couple years
That's
until it
true.
didn't, and
That's
then
true.
like when it stops working bad. Hey Cam Newton, hey Russell Wilson.
Yeah, sorry, sorry, Jalen Hurts. It doesn't end well for those mobile quarterbacks. Sorry,
Yeah,
Giants.
like hey,
Go ahead.
credit to Russell Wilson for like hey, I need to change my game up, but not working for him.
Sticking with the NFC East there. Giants, Commanders, Sunday night football. 4.5 Washington at home. Both of you guys picking this commies team with 4.5 points. And I'm on my lonely island picking the Giants. Last matchup ended in a tie. Come on, Billings. You told me about divisional matchups. You taught me about divisional matchups here. Tell me why you're picking the
uh
commies.
First off, that probably is like the worst overtime I've ever witnessed in my life.
It was
So
horrible.
bad. I was
It
like,
was horrible.
what are we doing? Like, talk about like that was children playing like Madden on Madden mode. And just like, yeah, it's impossible to score. Like, I'm gonna go with the Commanders. That 4.5 points is it's weird, but like the fact that Vegas is siding that much with them, I think they win by a touchdown.
Okay, fair. I think the Commanders still win, but I think it's a field goal game. I think it's closer. Division. Giants playing for their playoff life. It's closer. Commanders still
I'll
win.
say it again. Like the Commanders, if they didn't have like an absolute just dipshit for an owner, and all the other peripheral things going on there, like if they had like a somewhat decent QB, I'd even say a somewhat decent coach that doesn't carry water for said dipshit owner, like this would be a really good team. Like it's frustrating to watch because like they do have some really good talent on both sides of the ball there, but just everything around them is chaos. They are the epitome of the dog in the fire room of it's fine.
I'll ask you this question. Who would you rather have as a quarterback? Taylor Heineke or Jared Goff?
Probably Jared Goff just because of the experience.
Okay,
I
fair
mean,
enough.
he's still a guy that's gotten to a Super Bowl. Um, yeah, like just the experience, I think, would be the difference there.
Fair enough. It's close. It's close.
It's close. It's close. Like, but to your point, I don't see the Lions like saying like, hey, let's take Taylor Heineke on board and get rid of Jared Goff. Like I said, Jared Goff's their best option.
We'll see. We'll see what happens in this offseason. There's going to be some QB musical chairs going on.
Oh, there definitely will be.
Speaking of QB musical chairs, Baker Mayfield making his way to Los Angeles and the Rams winning that game against the Raiders in miraculous fashion. Going to Green Bay and Lambeau as 7-point underdogs. Both you and Nick are back in this Rams team and the points. Let me know why.
Just because of that Baker Mayfield X factor that I don't think the Packers like probably like their best asset at the moment is their defense, and I don't think they have a way to scheme for Baker Mayfield or the Rams offense at the moment. I don't think they know what they're going to get.
Okay.
And I don't see the Packers offense coming out and hanging bombs on the Rams because their offense hasn't been very good either.
This is true. It's still Lambeau. It's going to be cold. Is Baker really that good? Or were the Raiders just like in disarray?
I think it was more just it's like when you have those backup QBs come in that you didn't prep for, and it just throws your whole script out the window, basically. Uh, and I think that's going to be a continuation this week. Like I'm not saying Baker's back or that he's the future for the Rams. I think he adds an unknown to him, and you add Sean McVay into the mix that he is a good offensive schemer and coach, that he's going to come up with some creative things with Baker that's going to work to his advantages while also hiding some of his flaws.
I can see that. He will definitely maximize Baker.
Like Sean McVay did just that with Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm. He did.
So
You're right. 7 was a lot. Kind of feels like it could be a push.
probably a push.
But Packers, like I said, it's still Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers, primetime game. You never know with this guy. You never know.
Oh, but his thumb hurts. He has a sore thumb.
He had the bye week to take some ayahuasca and recharge.
Please retire. Please retire after this season.
I
I would rather deal with Brady for another 5 years than Aaron Rodgers for one.
have a Stugatz take for you. Are you ready?
Go
I don't
for
think
it.
you're ready. Aaron Rodgers, QB for the Jets next season.
No. He's not gonna follow in Brett Favre's footsteps. Not gonna happen.
All right. Well, I guess that's our cue right there to go ahead and get
I don't know what
here.
you're talking about. I see nothing.
And end this week 15 NFL show, as that is all the games. There are no other games that we need to talk about. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Anything you want to go ahead and plug before we get out of here, Billings?
Nope. I don't know what to watch. The Denver sports is in a state of chaos right now. Avs not doing good. Nuggets, decent win last night, but not performing to their expectations. So yeah, I'm just sad. Go France.
Some soccer talk for everyone. Some soccer talk before we leave. France, Argentina. He says go France. I'll say go Argentina to be different. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Week 15 NFL show. I got nothing to plug either. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Stay warm. It's cold now.
What's up, Nick?